What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is for 2023 Academy Award Best Picture prediction, nominations, and of course my personal opinion. This is where I will be predicting the 10 movies that will be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards this year. This is something that truthfully I've been pretty inconsistent with on my channel, and I do apologize about that. There are certain years where I say, you know what, I'm going to predict it, and then next year I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to do it this year. But this year, I feel pretty confident with saying, hey, these are going to be the 10 that are going to be nominated. That being said, though, before I name those 10, I'm going to name a couple that are on the bubble to where if they were to get nominated for Best Picture over some of the ones that I named, I wouldn't be surprised and I might even be happy for it. But after I'm done naming those ones that are on the bubble, I'll then read all of the Best Picture nominations alphabetically, the same way that they would do, obviously, when they're going to be doing the announcements on January 24th. But, guys, enough exposition. Let's get started. So, some of the ones that are on the bubble, we have RRR. Reason why I didn't put this in terms of like, hey, this is going to be nominated for Best Pictures, because just looking at the shortlist for the Academy Awards, RRR wasn't on really any of the shortlist for like the technical aspects like sound, visual effects, international features. So I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so what are the odds of it getting just a Best Picture nomination and a Best Director nomination? Pretty slim, right? So I don't know. That's why I wasn't like confident, even though it is a worldwide phenomenon. I'm not 100% feeling that it's going to be nominated for Best Picture. And then Triangle of Sadness. I truthfully haven't seen this movie, but I know that this is a movie that has a pretty big following. Like, a lot of people I know really like this movie. I can see this getting some Oscar nomination attention in terms of like screenplay, of course, acting. But I'm not really thinking that it's going to be Best Picture. Again, I'm saying that if someone hasn't seen it. And then we have The Whale. The reason why I personally think that it won't be nominated for Best Picture, even though I would love if it did, is because it's such a divisive movie. And I feel like you have some people that absolutely love the movie and then other people that feel it's melodramatic. I can definitely see it getting nominated for like makeup, screenplay, Best Actor, maybe even Best Supporting Actress. But I don't know. I feel like Best Picture is a little bit, it's close, but I don't think it's going to. I hope so, though. Fingers crossed. And then Glass Onion, a Knives Out story. This is a movie that I feel like, because it's such a phenomenon, it possibly could. But same thing as some of these other ones. I just don't know if it has like enough love in other categories to kind of push it to, hey, it's going to be nominated for Best Picture. Like, I feel like outside of Best Picture, the only real entries I'm like, okay, it could get nominated for this is screenplay. So I don't know, but again, these are the ones that are on the bubble. So now I'll be obviously talking about the 10 movies that I believe will be nominated for Best Picture. So alphabetically speaking, we have All Quiet on the Western Front. I believe this movie will get nominated for Best Picture, probably Best Director too, and a lot of others. This was a movie that was on the short list quite a bit in terms of the Oscars, so I definitely can see it being like that allotted slot of where it's like, it's a foreign film that got a Best Picture nomination. So next up, we have Avatar: The Way of Water, a worldwide phenomenon, a breakthrough in terms of visual effects. The technology is just incredible. James Cameron's directing. It's a feat for the eyes, and at the same time, it's a movie that both critics and audience loved. And also riding the momentum of Avatar, its predecessor. I feel like it's got a lot of momentum going forward because of the behind the line in terms of cinematography, sound, and everything. It's going to get nominated for that. So I feel like the momentum will definitely carry it to a Best Picture nomination. Next up, we have Babylon. I know I mentioned in terms of The Whale about being divisive and how I feel like that's going to be like why it won't get nominated. I feel like Babylon, the reason why, despite it being divisive, it getting a Best Picture nomination is because there's so much love for Damien Chazelle's work, like his previous work. But not only that, there's a lot of below-the-line technical aspects that it's going to get nominated for. So I just feel like that, just a lot of love for the acting. I just feel like all those nominations are really going to rack up, and then people are just going to say, hey, you know what? It's a movie about movies, filmmaking and everything. I feel like that's going to push it to the edge of where it's like it's going to get a Best Picture nomination. Next up, we have The Banshees of Inisherin. Martin McDonagh is just synonymous at this point for Oscars. It's great acting, great writing. All those categories. It's going to get like probably 3-4 acting nominations on top of screenplay, on top of possibly score, cinematography. It might hit double digits. It possibly could, and definitely Best Pictures in the cards. Next up, we have Elvis, which I'm not going to lie, I don't think it should be nominated for Best Picture, but looking at the box office success, the love from critics, I feel like it's going to be this year's Bohemian Rhapsody. There, I said it. Next up, number 6, we have Everything Everywhere All at Once. I love this film. I've seen it 3 times as the filming of this video. It's great. I'm looking forward to rewatching it many more times. It's a film that it's weird, and that's why, like, months ago, if you had asked me if it would be nominated for Best Picture, I would say I hope that it does, but I don't think it will because it's weird. But now, actually seeing the playing field and everything, it has a shot of getting nominated for Best Picture and maybe a win. Fingers crossed, but it's definitely going to get in. It has a lot of support from both the acting categories, the technical aspects. It's going to do really well Oscar nomination morning. You'll see. And then next up, The Fablesmans. I mean, come on. This is a Steven Spielberg movie. This is yet another one of those Steven Spielberg movies where, like, you can see that it's probably going to hit double digits in terms of nominations. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's like, what category won't it get nominated? That's the real question. It's a really good film, and on top of that, it does have a lot of love. Next up, we have Tar. This is Todd Field's latest film, and truthfully, this is like one of those movies that's really distant and everything and cold, and I'm kind of surprised that it's in the race and everything, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy because I feel like it's a movie that in other years might not have the chance to actually be nominated for Best Picture, but here we are, and it does. And I think that if it gets a Best Picture nomination, more and more people will check it out, and I think that's pretty cool. It's definitely going to get some acting love, and I also feel like it probably will get some, like, like cinematography nominations, stuff along those lines. I feel like it has a possibility of. So definitely in the race. And then next up, we have Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick, again, same thing, except on the opposite end. Months ago, if you told me Top Gun Maverick would be a Best Picture nominee, I would say no, it definitely won't be. But the more that I hear people's viewpoint on this movie, and the more I see why people make a reasoning for why it would get nominated for Best Picture, I say, okay, I see why, even though I don't necessarily agree with it being nominated for Best Picture. I can see why some people would say that it would. And not only that, like all these other entries, it's going to do really well in the technical aspects. I feel like where it's going to kind of fall behind and where it might become this year's Mad Max Fury Road, if you will, is that it's not really going to get any acting nominations. And I feel like that's going to kind of hold it back. So I feel like at the actual Oscars, it's probably going to pick up a bunch of wins for the technical aspects, but I don't see it winning Best Picture. But I definitely do think it's going to be, nominated at the very least. And the last but not least, the number 10th slot. This was an interesting choice because, again, I haven't seen this movie. But the number 10 slot is Women Talking. I've just heard so much about this movie that I really can't see it not being nominated. I feel like it's going to be one of those situations where it's either going to be nominated and it's going to be nominated for a bunch of acting categories and screenplay, or it's going to be one of those situations where it doesn't get nominated for Best Picture and it doesn't get nominated for acting and it just gets a screenplay nomination. And I feel like that would be something to be kind of a surprise, but I've seen it happen before, so I'm kind of curious. But guys, those are the 10 movies that I believe will be nominated for Best Picture on January 24th. Let me know the 10 movies that you feel as though will be nominated for Best Picture. And let me know of the ones that you predict will be nominated, what your favorite one is. I'm very curious to hear your guys' thoughts down below. I would let you guys know what, in terms of my predictions, what my favorite one is, but I don't want to spoil my top 10 films of 2022 list, which I will be filming shortly, probably once I watch Women Talking. But guys, thank you very much for watching. You guys are the best. And don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me on Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.